Hello, viewers, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning, we are taking a look on a response from Savior Kasukuwere to Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Remember, the issues of land tenure are causing a lot of troubles, a lot of problems in the nation of Zimbabwe. We saw Kudata Gwirei chairing the land tenure committee. And we need to take a look on what some comrades have said, because this is absolute looting and robbery of land, which is happening in broad daylight. Kasukuwere says, what is this? Is this the land reform that many of us bear huge scars from? What is ED up to? What is this man trying to do with the country? Please separate national politics from your individual deals. I'm going to take a look onto what Savior Kasukuwere has said, and we need to highlight the problems. So, Robert Mugabe is our biggest problem. He led the most chaotic land reform program in Zimbabwe. After the land reform program, Robert Mugabe failed again to regularize the process and make it lawful. He failed on that. He also failed to deal with the land question. You are supposed to put land into categories: communal lands, resettlements, and commercial land. That is something which is very important. So resettlements were supposed to be those without land will then go into the resettlements, especially those who want to do farming, but at a small scale. Then commercial farms were supposed to be owned by the government, but specifically to make sure that the country meets its commercial needs in terms of agriculture. So it was going to be both for horticulture, for animal husbandry, for crop husbandry or whatever. That is what was going to build this economy. Robert Mugabe failed that. So we ended up having farms in the hands of just a few individuals at the top. And that then made the new government which has come, it was given power because of irregularities to do whatever they want to do. So the first thing is they are compensating whites. At the same time, they are calling the opposition sellouts. They are compensating white farmers 3.5 billion for stealing our land. That is a fact. Secondly, they are subdividing these farms so as to give themselves these farms for their own benefit, instead of keeping these farms as commercial farms for the purposes of making sure that the economy is boosted. They are actually doing it for the sake of themselves. So it's a family business. So Savior Kasukuwere right here is speaking about some scars of the land reform. How did Savior Kasukuwere end up with land reform scars? It's a very, very important question. These are the beneficiaries of the land reform program. When he was in power, they failed to talk sense into Robert Mugabe to say, Mr. Mugabe, regularize the issues of land. He is one of the people who failed to push Mugabe to give title deeds to us. We are not talking about title deeds where we were going to sell our farmlands. No, it was going to be a family heritage. So each and every family, knowing fully well that we have come out of 1980, land has gone from to the 90s to the early 2000s, people knew land in Dedu. They could have given title to that land, which means even though we were not going to be able to sell that land, we were going to have a security of tenure. We were going to know kuti hakuna mnanongo uya ari mchina oti because panapa pabuda lithium papang. It means if the Chinese could come and say there is lithium here, we want to do mining, they were going to agree with the owners of that land. The owners of the land were going to get a fair share. What was going to make wealth retain here in Zimbabwe, in our nation? Right now munhu anongouya otomutsa gold claim yake otanga otomaina ototora mari yese oenda nayo. The country is left with nothing. The country is left with royalties tusina basa. Vana Sevia Kasukuwere, they were young, they were energetic, they were popular within the ranks and files of ZANU-PF. They failed to spearhead for that. Vaingorwa nyaya dzemafactional battles vachivhiringidza vamwe, but they failed. So in as much as we agree with the last statement right here, they must own up and accept that even they made problems because they failed to deal with this problem. So I believe that when you get into government, you need to deal with problems as they are. For example, the next leader who will get into government, we need to deal with the land question. We need to deal with the minerals question. We need to deal with the issues of Gokura Hundi and political violence. We need to deal with the issues of reforms. Make sure that everything is put in line. You must create a conducive environment for this nation to move ahead, such that each and every other government which will come, it will come tine consensus, tine national unity, tine national goals, atine tichita pursue. Look at America. They have what they call national interests. They have what they call foreign interests. Usually they do not deviate from those things. Even if there are differences in terms of approach, they always pursue the similar or same interests as a country. That is what Zimbabwe was supposed to create. But we failed to create that because of how this ZANU-PF government personalized Zimbabwe and personalized everything. And we now have problems. So Kasukuwere chaired the Land Tenure Implementation Committee. And remember, this Land Tenure Implementation Committee, it's a looting vehicle. Kasukuwere owns CBZ somewhere. And tichaona kuti land tenure program iri kuita kuti maloans atorwe and mabhengi achaburitsa mari. And this is privatization of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is being privatized, vanhu takatarisa. And it's a very, very sad situation. And, this will need a robust approach. I hope and believe that my banks will not fall into this trap, because we will never tolerate to have our land being sold for a song by criminals who will take money, go bank that money outside of Zimbabwe. And Sevia Kasukuwere are part and parcel of that scheme, because how are they living outside the borders of Zimbabwe? If these people had put all their money in Zimbabwe, dai varivo vanhu vari kukwangwaya vachifamba vakashama vari kuSouth Africa. But they are living large because they were externalizing money vachienda kunoviga kunze. They knew for sure that this day could come. We need people who will serve generously, honestly, competently, to a point yekuti pavanosiya power havana need yekunge vakaviga mari kunze kwenyika yekuti vanotiza vachienda kunodya ikoko. So he says the National Land Commission should be responsible, and that's why it was created. I agree with him. Okay, so you can see who are the other members of the committee, what are their terms of reference, how was the selection done. So let us wait to see what is going to happen. The problem is that the military, they allowed lawlessness to happen in Zimbabwe, and this is where we are. Nyika iri kutengeswa, nyika yaiswa pa auction, vakatarisa. I know that what you are saying might not be popular, but this is the truth. This is reality. Nyika yaiswa pa auction. So we have seen the effects. That is the reason why they are running around trying to evict people everywhere. Ukaenda kunana uswa ushava, vari kuedza kuisa vanhu mumaclusters so that vanotora land yakakura for themselves. And they put people in clusters, vobva vazvipa matitle deeds, vanhu vopiwa maoffer letters. Zvichira kuti the majority of the people, they will remain slaves. Vane maoffer letters, mangwana vanouya vachitsabvurirwa vachitorerwa ivo vachipanana matitle deeds. And that is it. So Zimbabwe yaiva shoma, Zimbabwe yaiva politicians, and it's very, very sad.